from Denovo. Whole practice management software built for modern law firms. Your practice performance matters.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome along to session 4 of CaseLoad coaching. Grant Yuill here again, Denovo's Head of Marketing. Alongside me is my colleague Stephen Hill, our Operations Director. And this afternoon we will be talking to you about another feature of CaseLoad. This is an area that a lot of our existing partners like you have been keen to see. It's going to be all about time recording. So the agenda for today, we're going to give you a bit of an update just in the current situation with coronavirus. We will then talk to you briefly just about the benefits of time recording. We'll go straight into the CaseLoad session. We'll have a Q&A as always. We'll talk to you a bit about the upcoming sessions over the next few weeks, how you can get in touch with us, and then how to watch again as we are recording right now. But before we jump into the actual session itself, I just want to make you all aware of how Denovo will be operating going forward. So as we continue to monitor the coronavirus developments, we've got a primary focus on ensuring the health and safety of our colleagues, at the same time mitigating business impacts for you, our partners. Now, in support of this, we've activated our business continuity plan with all employees now working from home. But please be advised that for the health and safety of our colleagues and partners, Denovo's office is now in full lockdown. So going forward, all meetings, demonstrations, training will all take place via video conferencing. Normal business hours, they're unaffected, and Denovo's online support network will operate as normal. If you're a cloud user with us and don't have a work laptop, please go onto our website. There's instructional videos there on how to enable you to work from home using your own hardware. Please be aware you must have an up-to-date antivirus and secure Wi-Fi connection. So now to focus a little bit more on what we are here to talk about. So we hear quite a lot, I don't have time to record my time, I'll hang back at the end of the day and fill in my timesheets. How many times have you heard it yourself? How many times have you maybe said it yourself? Or even worse, in some cases, you don't actually record your time. So you're kind of there dreading the time of day when you have time to record, for all the things that you've missed, perhaps coming in early just to catch up on some of your time recording, or even staying late to record what you did that day. Why is that such a problem? Why do we moan about having to record our time? It's not because we don't want to. No, most of us understand that. It's just that it's something we have to remember to do on top of everything else, especially at a time like this. And the process of recording it always seems quite inconvenient. But what if recording that time was simpler, more manageable, and a bit more convenient? The question we're asking is, what effect could that have on you and your business? So time recording in CaseLoad will not only help you to calculate time spent on specific tasks or a whole project, it also makes the invoicing and billing process a lot easier. Regardless of how you bill your clients, hourly or flat rates, the workflow is automated to track working hours, create invoices and generate reports. Whether you're producing a letter, having a meeting, or sending an email, your time capture becomes almost second nature when you've got a system that works for you. So CaseLoad also has added benefits for any size firm, from sole practitioners to commercial firms, legal aid to private client. Time matters no matter what size of firm you are. So some of the benefits are customised fee structure to deliver what you want, a flat rate fees or sliding scale to suit all staff levels and roles, variable WIP limits per case, visuals showing where you are within, approaching or exceeding limits, and indicators for interim billing, highlighting where your time overlaps, and we include outlays in your WIP figure to give true expenditure per case. So what I'll do now is I'll hand you over to Stephen, who will talk to you about how to make your time matter using CaseLoad.
Hi everyone. So I'm just going to go over some of the features of time recording within CaseLoad. There is quite a lot to cover this week. The software does a lot now in terms of the time recording. So let's have a look at, first of all, how you would create a matter for time recording. Now this can be done at the matter creation process. However, if you've already created the matter, you can also open it up, click on the account tab, and we've got a little box down here for time postings allowed. Selecting that, you see will bring this time recording bar on the menu. You open that up, set the charge category, set the charge level, and if appropriate, add a WIP limit in there as well. So we'll just stick £500 in there for this example. You save and exit, and you're now able to record time on that particular matter. So if we go back in, let's look at the new time entry button. So that's now activated within this matter. You'll see we've got a couple of options here based on this work type. If we choose time engaged on this particular one, you'll see this time entry window appears. Now, the WIP limit we've agreed is £500. That shows in the grey box in the middle. We've already charged some time on this particular matter, so there's £20 of time charges already sitting there. So balance available is 480. You see it defaults to myself as the fee earner on today's date. Activity is the one I've selected, and summary can be changed and updated, as can the narrative. You see the time defaults to the current time when you created the new time entry. These can be amended. So if we wanted it to make that 3 o'clock, and this one 3:30, I've already posted the time. You'll see it calculates the 30 minutes. Based on the units and charge rates existing within the CaseLoad system that's been set up against that charge category, you see the WIP balance is now going to increase to £100 on this particular matter, making the balance available 400. So to complete that time entry, we're just going to hit save and close. And that's that charge now being made against that particular client. There is obviously other places where you can charge time in the software. If we were doing a document production item, say we choose this letter here as the default letter, the summary and details can be entered in there, but we've also got post time here as well. So we click on post time, you see the £100 charge in this particular matter has already been added, or will be added when we update the timesheet. You would pick letter and email fax, the rate comes in, you hit post time, and then you just follow through the document production features. So before I've even produced the letter, I've already got my job charge calculated in the system. I'll then send this letter out, and I know that the charge has already been added. Clicking on the time tab, you're able to see a breakdown of fee earner analysis and also any unposted time entries. So you'll see that one there for time engaged that we did there is sitting there unposted, waiting to be added on today's timesheet. If we go into another matter, just pick this one here. We're going to import an email in here. So import email, I'm going to pick that one at the top. That one's not been added to the system yet. You can preview the email as normal and click on post time. You'll see it's defaulted to the fee earner for this particular matter. The drop-down activities are available here as well. So in this instance, I'm going to pick letter, email, fax. It's going to be chargeable. There is other options available in there as well. And you just add in a summary and narrative. And click post time. There's no WIP limit set on this particular one, so nothing will happen in the warning windows. You can enter a different summary in there as we discussed in email management, and you're just clicking import. So from within a couple of steps there, I was able to import the email client correspondence and post my time charge at the same time. So it removed duplication of it and the potential of not recording the email and the time charge at the same time. Moving over to the time matters view, you'll see we've added some colour. It's basically a traffic light system in here. So based on the WIP limits here, which are variable and can be set depending on whatever your preference is, that can be 500 across the board, across all matters, or you may have different limits for different work types. So on this one at the top, you'll see the WIP charge is just over £1,000 on a WIP limit 1400. So the amount under is showing in blue for me, so I know that I'm £370 away from reaching a particular WIP limit. The ones that are shown in red are over, so I've exceeded those, so I should really be billing them pretty soon. Well, I should have done that before I got to the 500, but you get the point. They should be getting billed now anyway. The ones in amber, they're a kind of warning system we've put in place. We've decided 80% of the WIP limit means that the warning turns amber. So if we go into the one at the top, which has got the 1400 limit, and we were to select a new time entry, I'm just going to show you what happens when you start to reach the limit. So if this unit was 10, sorry if I was just to change the time on that one, so let's make that 3 o'clock. You'll see, because I've said the duration is 43 minutes, that's now turned amber to say you're going to be very close to your WIP limit if you continue to post this through. And if to move that forward a bit further, a wee bit more. Went a bit extreme there, but you get the point. It's went red because we've exceeded the WIP limit. Now, CaseLoad will still be allowed to save and close that. It's more of a warning system to say you have exceeded the limit. So it's just, that's just exactly what we're trying to achieve with that, to show you that you should really be billing that one. I'm not going to save that particular one. Again, any unposted timesheets can be accessed in the time window. If we look at the accounting tab and click on postings, you are able to view all time charge postings which have occurred already within that matter. And you see their status on the right hand side, so the ones that are not yet billed will show there, and you can basically look through them and see what you've charged already on that particular matter. Just like we discussed in the matter management, these can all be grouped on as well. So I've got this set that I only show ones that have WIP charges. They can be sorted so that they go in order of highest to lowest. The reason some of them aren't color coded is because there isn't a WIP limit set against those, so they won't show in this system. if we added a limit, then they would show. So if we take this one here, for example, put 600 in there. You see that's now shown as amber. So 565 against 600, and it's turned amber. So it very quickly picks up and reports on that in there as well. If we move over to, sorry, I'm just going to go back into that one then actually. And just go into events. Pick this one here, meeting with client. In fact, I won't go into that. Yeah. So this one here, you'll see it's an existing event, and this would be exactly the same if you were to do a new event. You'll see the time window in here as well. So the same time window appears. It's got the details in here as to what's been said based on the details of the event, and the summary's picked up there. And all you would have to do was select the event type. You see that makes it chargeable. You would click post time and save and exit. Okay, so let's now go and have a wee look at the timesheet view. So on the time menu, this will have made it show all fee earners, so they will all show. That can be changed from within there, so you can have different ones to show or look at. Clicking on the eraser icon will show all fee earners. If I wanted to see closed and posted timesheets, so one that has already went through, I would click on that and you'll see it shows them. I have filtered it already to this year. If I was to take that filter off, you'll see it's got all the historical ones in there. Just bring that back. And the status will show here as well. So I'll move this over here. You see the status of the timesheet, so that will be active or it's already been posted. The total minutes applied to that timesheet, the total units, and the total charges. So if you're starting to group by a particular fee earner, you're able to now report on, and you say you did this for a particular week, you will start to see the minutes, the units, and the charges posted by that fee earner on that particular week, and that will total at the bottom. So you may want to do that by department or sorry, by fee earner to see what they're putting through on a weekly basis. If we go into the timesheet, so I'll pick on this one that's active and just maximize that, you will see all the ones I've done for yesterday. So I've just put all these entries in against the matter it's against, the description, the summary, and chargeable or non-chargeable, the category would show there as well. And you see that that's now totaled up. So my minutes yesterday were 261 and my charge was 559. The red lines, you may be wondering why some of that showing in red. This one here, I've posted it out of sync. So I've posted that charge and then posted that one. If I sort by time, just to see how I've done throughout the day, you see that disappears, but I've still got one more red in there as well. The reason that's showing in red is because there's an overlap in the system. So CaseLoad will now warn you to say there is an entry there which is over the top of an existing entry. So I know that one there from 2 o'clock to 25 past, I then posted an entry from 23 minutes past till 2 minutes to 3. So that's saying that I've posted 2 entries in the one time, which is why it's going in red. This can be amended. We've just added that in now. So if I double click on that one and make that time 14:25, that'll update that to 33 minutes. And I should save and close. And that red warning is now gone. So the system's now comfortable that there's no overlaps in the system. From within the timesheet, you can update the timesheet. So if we're completed it for the day, we can click post. We can refresh if we've made a change. And we can also do a new time entry from here as well. So we can either work from within the matter, or we can work from within the timesheet. If I click on new time entry and choose the person icon, you'll see it showing all my active matters. So I've got 8 to select from. And if I pick one from there, you'll see I can do a new event. So I'm going to choose meeting. The reason being is I'm going to show you how the timer works in CaseLoad as well. So I'm going to click run timer. So you could use this for a meeting or a telephone call, anything that's going to be chargeable based on time. So that's going to run. You see it's running away at the moment. If I click on mini timer, you'll see I can move that to anywhere in the window. So if I was in the matter or I was wanting to look through events, I could start the timer, have the meeting with the clients while that's running in the background, and bring it back whenever I'm finished. And you click run timer again, and that basically stops the timer. I'm just going to change that particular one. Just so it shows a wee bit more time. So the unit's still within the 6 minutes we've got allocated there. It's only at 4. We hit save and close. And you'll see that's now added to the timesheet with today's date, the 25th. So when you do a new time entry, it'll always default to today's date. If you wanted to amend that entry, you would just click on that. It defaults to the date. Hit save and close. You'll see it's now updated to the 24th. So we've got that full functionality of being able to click amend, update. If there was one that you wanted to delete from within the timesheet as well, this one at the top, say we didn't want to post that anymore, you would just click delete the entry. You see that's now disappeared from there, and we'll save and close that timesheet. And that's us now gone. So there is a lot of options within CaseLoad to record time. You don't have to work with timesheets. We have a lot of settings in there, so it can be a default job charge or whatever preference you wanted to have set up, we would put in place in the systems. What we're just looking to showcase here is the option to have different ways of being able to record your time. We have that throughout document production, email imports, and just general event management and time management. So there is a lot of options to be able to record your time within the CaseLoad software. So I think we are going to move on to the Q&A part.
Yep, thanks for that, Stephen. So hopefully that all made sense. However, as always, if you're feeling confused at all or have any burning questions, please send them to us and we'll answer as best we can. We've actually had a couple of questions come through. The first one is, can you post time entries for another fee earner?
You can. So if I go into one of those time matters and go to new time entry, you see it does default to myself as the fee earner. However, in the drop down, you are able to select any of the fee earners. We actually have a few options in the system as well. So if you wanted the time entry to default to the fee earner associated with the matter, that can be switched on. But if you wanted it default to the user, that can also be switched on. But we will always have the option to change that when you're in any of the new time entry windows now, that the fee earner can be changed at any point. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, and we have one more. Let me just check that one out. So can you time record on court diary appointments?
Yes, you can. So let's look at the court diary and scroll down to one of the later ones. So I'll pick this one here for the 19th of March, and you'll see the time entry windows in there as well. So very similar to the events window, you would just click on the post time and you'll see that's defaulted to the representative, which is Callum in this instance. Pick the activity. You will have standard narratives in there as a choice. If you wanted to have options in there, we'll just pick the top one. You'll see that brings in the information for that particular hearing option, and you would just click post time and save and close. So that will update the court diary appointment and the time entry for that particular option.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Stephen. And thank you for the couple of questions that you've sent in. We hope you got the answers you were looking for. So just so you're all aware, next week's session will focus on dashboard reporting. In that session, you'll learn how CaseLoad can help you report on firm performance. So please feel free to join us and or get your colleagues to join in. And as always, we're going to be available for a chat anytime. So please feel free to get in touch with myself, Stephen, the rest of the team, following the session to ask any additional questions you may have about time recording or anything at all in general. You know, some of the questions we've been fielding so far, a lot of working from home, utilising the likes of Microsoft Teams and video conferencing. Anything like that at all, please do reach out to us and we can have a conversation with you about it and see how we can help. Session 4 has been recorded and it will be available to watch on the website in the usual location in the next 24 hours. We will send a link to you directly, so you don't need to go searching for it. That'll arrive in your inbox tomorrow. So that's the end of this week's session, folks. I'd like to say thank you very much for joining myself and Stephen. Please stay safe, stay home, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And we'll see you next time for more CaseLoad coaching.